Okay, so here's the setup in the daylight after a nice comfortable night in hot tent, I guess. I guess that's what we call them these days. I don't know. It's an outfitter's tent. I just want to do a quick little update, give you a better idea what this thing looks like in the daytime. Kind of neat. It poured last night. I mean, rained all day, all night, and it was probably 75 degrees in that tent most of the night. Actually, it got so hot I had to go outside at one point. But just the cool thing about this setup is, a couple of guys can drag it out into the woods, with toboggans, and the stove breaks down and so forth, and set it up as a tent, and then you can actually, go out and hunt, whatever you want to do, and come back, build a fire, and in 15 minutes you're drying out. And that's the whole key to living out in the woods or wilderness for extended periods of time. You got to be able to warm up and dry out. Probably more important than anything in the middle of the winter when it's wet and cold and rainy, snow, whatever. But anyway, again, the cell phone, it is what it is, guys. I'll at some point get a camera, but that's my little firewood operation. And trying to dry out some wood. I got some nice dry stuff in the box, but try to stay ahead of it. I save that for when it's, all else fails. Let's take a walk inside real quick. And here's the setup. Again, that's the stove I showed you the other night. And an easy chair, so to speak, in my bed. What I actually have is a nice little custom-made bedroll. I think I told you about that, but canvas, fire and waterproof, resistant. And I don't know if I mentioned it, but the tent's also not a canvas, but a nylon, but it's sort of a cross hybrid type material, and it's pretty much indestructible. But when that tent's going, I basically lay on top of that thing, to be honest with you. So on a cold night, or a night that's, in the 40s or whatever, I just let the fire go out, get in my bag, get up in the morning, light a fire, and have some coffee. And I drink my coffee there. This is just in the beginnings setup, the beginning steps of this little project. I'm going to spend a lot of time out here this winter, just out in my backyard, so I'm not going to lie to you and say I'm out in the middle of nowhere. I'm not. I'm out here by choice. And like yesterday, I get up, had to go to work at 7 o'clock, but whatever. I can still come home and spend the night in the tent, cook my food out here, get a nice fire pit, and I don't know. Pretty cool little setup, and it's good to get familiar with your equipment where you're in, not in harm's way. I spent a lot of nights in the cold, sub-zero temperatures, and with $800 sleeping bags and $700 tents, and $5,000 worth of crap, whatever. And that's fine. But I enjoy this approach a little better, cutting and splitting wood. You really can't have a fire, if you're dressed up in nylon with nylon tents and nylon sleeping bags. I mean, you can't do it. I've got down jackets with holes in them, from sitting around fires, and if the tent and the sleeping bag goes up, you're pretty much done. I mean, you buy a 4-season tent, hike up above tree line, set it up, and you lose your shelter and your means of keeping warm, and it goes downhill quick, trust me. But if you're going to try winter camping or anything, do it out. Just buy a tent, pitch it in the backyard, whatever, so the neighbors laugh at you. They're laughing at you anyway, trust me. And, you get familiar with your equipment. You get comfortable with it. Like, I set this up the other night after dark. It took me about a half an hour. But I've set this tent up, a dozen times. I've never done it in the wintertime after dark. Now I know I can do that. there's a few issues that I hadn't really, thought about. But anyway, I'm babbling, I know, but it's all an adventure is all in what you make it. It's just as big as your imagination. So, at least if you're out here doing something, you're not in sitting on the couch watching TV, watching football. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but we get enough of that crap. So anyway, hopefully someday I'll have a camera, so I won't punish you with this stupid cell phone.